So what is social networking? Take a look at Facebook. Formed in 2004, this site now has over 1 billion active users every month. And Twitter, formed in 2006. These are the two major kings of the social networks. Think about your friend's birthday. What would you do for your friend's birthday? Me personally, I'd write on their wall. But how has this changed the world?
Let's look at the facts. Before a time when Facebook was around, traditionally you would say happy birthday by sending a card. That card would cost anything from 50p to, well, any amount. With the ease of simply writing happy birthday to your friend or family member through your Facebook account, there is now no need to go to the shops and spend money on these type of cards. This is one of the main contributors to the slow demise of card shops on the nation's high streets.
The success of President Obama's campaign back in 2008 was almost purely driven by the social networks. His advisor, Chris Hughes, was there to support him as his technology advisor with his decision making with this new medium. The outcome of the election could have been so much different without him. Let's look at teenagers today. How are their lives different as opposed to somebody who was a teenager 65 years ago?
How do I use social networking? Well, I only use it professionally in as much that being at the radio station here, I will use it to promote radio shows and what we're doing here, but I don't tend to use it on a personal basis at all. In days gone by, there was no social networking, so it's difficult to compare. I think in those days we were just doing it in the real world and actually talking to one another face to face rather than communicating through this machine that sits there. And people have a habit, I think, nowadays of talking through those machines almost 24 hours a day. They've got mobile phones switched on all the time, talking to friends. And I think in a way that is difficult because it means they can't ever get away from people. I'm not sure that there is a definitive answer as to whether the benefits outweigh the disadvantages, because I'm not sure that it's been going long enough for people to identify what all the things are that might be wrong with it compared with how it was before. I personally think that I probably had a better experience not growing up with all of this networking, but then I'm not living today, and therefore for me to say that doesn't necessarily follow that anybody of my age, or sorry, anybody of the age that I would have been then would agree with me. They probably wouldn't. It's a totally different world.
So we've taken a look at Facebook in depth, but what about the other major social network, Twitter? It works in a similar way, but there are some differences. The major one being that you've only got 140 characters to deliver your message. Maybe you want to confess your love to Justin Bieber, or maybe ask a radio station to play your favourite Robbie Williams track. Whatever you do, you've only got 140 characters. There's also some strange things going on Twitter. Jimmy Kimmel Live had a brilliant TV show where he looked at the strange tweets that celebrities have received.
I would rather chop my arm off and myself with my detached limb than watch Katy Perry the movie. What the is wrong with the world? I pay to see that.
Zooey Deschanel is overrated. I think I'm underrated.
Did you know that if you skinned Larry King and ironed out his leather, you could make enough coats to give one to every poor child in America?
David Spade. At least this guy just gets right to it.
I liked Kristen Stewart more when she was a boy.
Dear God, give us back Tupac and we'll give you Justin Bieber.
We've uncovered some of the nasty ways that Twitter can be used, but how about we ask people on what they actually think?
Social networking, what do I think? I love it. I think it's a fantastic tool. However, I think it's massively oversaturated. It can be an incredibly useful tool incredibly useful. Very powerful as well. Examples from all ends of the spectrum, good things and bad things. You know, there are plenty of good examples of why social media is useful. For advertising or, you know, getting something promoted, but it's also, you have to be very careful with social media. Once it's on the internet, it's on the internet. For me, I use Facebook quite a lot and Twitter for the radio, at least, for kind of sharing things I find on the internet, like interesting stories, something quirky, funny, something a bit light-hearted. Also to try and use people, you know, to tell people stuff's coming up. You know, I do not a scheduled show, it's not really regimented, but I like to keep things in a similar spot every morning so that people will get used to it and they know what time it is by what they can hear on the show. So, you know, if I know I've got a really specifically good showbiz news bit, I'll tweet it a few minutes earlier. Showbiz news on the way, you won't want to miss it. You know, and then obviously it gives people a chance to go, oh, actually, yeah, I could do with knowing that, because I do it quite flippantly. But, you know, things like I do a musical quiz every day, we do a track of the week, which starts on a Tuesday, funnily enough. So this morning I made the post online on the website, then I tweeted it and Facebooked it. So after I played it on air, on social media, I'm saying, just played it, if you missed it, here it is, and you point people to it. So I think it's a fantastic tool to either bring people in or point people in certain directions. And, you know, if they have an interest in what you do, then it's fantastic, yeah, it's great. And it's great to talk to people as well. It's a really informal way of talking without people feeling like they have to do anything. You couldn't disappear. It will never disappear. Facebook may be at the point where it's starting to plateau off with memberships, but it will never disappear. You know, when you think about 8 years ago, Facebook didn't exist, Twitter didn't exist. We've got over 500 million people on Facebook now, 200 million on Twitter. But before that, you know, since then, you've had, you've got Vine now, the new one that's out. You've got loads of others. You've got Tumblr, you've got Pinterest, Instagram. I mean, that's just basically an app for taking photos of your food, I guess. But you know, for some people, it's brilliant and it works. I think the world is a better place for it, actually. Things are more instant. News is a really good thing as well. News can be spread really fast. Important news, something that's important to people, and Twitter's a fantastic tool for that. Really, really good. It's just got the edge because it's so instantaneous. It's 140 characters. This has happened, more news to follow. And instantly, I think probably BBC News or Sky News or something like that have got millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. If 1% of them retweet that, that's expanded from 100,000 followers to 10 million, 20 million. And instantly BBC are breaking this news story, or Sky are breaking it, or ITV, or sometimes even a celebrity is the first one to tweet it, but that's it, it's like wildfire. And it's great, I think it really is, but it has to be used the right way.
In 2008, MySpace generated in excess of $800 million. They were a major employer in the social networking world, employing 1,600 people. But there was a storm on the horizon. Our old friend Facebook was growing in popularity. Why was MySpace suffering? Was it the fact they were showing far too many adverts and users were quite simply just deleting their accounts? Whatever the reason, on the 19th of April 2008, Facebook took over the social networking world. Let's look at the facts.
As of 2011, there are 5 million active Facebook users. That's 1 in every 13 people on Earth. 48% of 18 to 34-year-olds check Facebook right when they wake up. The 35 plus demographic now represents more than 30% of the entire user base. Did you know there are 206.2 million internet users in the US? That means 71.2% of the US web audience is on Facebook. 57% of people talk more online than they do in real life. 48% of young Americans said they found out about news through Facebook. A record-breaking 750 million photos were uploaded to Facebook over the New Year's weekend. Let's take a look at what happens every 20 minutes, right here on Facebook. 1 million links shared. 1,484,000 event invites. 1,323,000 tagged photos, 1,851,000 status updates, over 1,972,000 individual friend requests are accepted. There's over 2,716,000 photos uploaded. There's 2,716,000 messages sent and over 10 million comments made, along with 1,587,000 wall posts.
So there we go, Facebook, the world's leading social networking site. Benefits some people, but affects other people in so many other ways. What will take over from Facebook? Only time will tell.